everyone, and welcome to this webinar empowering fintech talent at their early career stage. And my name is Wan Qin, the moderators today from BCS, the Chartered Institutes for IT Early Career Executive Session. And first of all, let's welcome Tim, the chair from BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT Early Career Executive Sessions, to deliver a welcoming speech. And the floor is yours.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Just wanted to check I'm fully unmuted. Apologies for my late joining. I had some technical issues. If only I knew anything about technology as a software engineer. But hey, there you go. Hello, my name is Tim Clark. I chair the BCS Early Career Executive, which takes a strategic look at early careers across the BCS organization and externally in the IT industry to see how we can influence both BCS and other organizations, companies, recruiters, other charities to support people at the early career stage. And we do that through a combination of shaping BCS policy, external outreach, and also events like this, which WAM has done a fantastic job of organising along with Lasith. So first of all, thank you very much to both of you for organising the event, and also thank you ever so much to all the speakers who've agreed to be here today. And I'm very excited to see what the discussion involves. My day job is as a software engineer at Starling Bank, so I'm involved in the fintech space, and it's something I find very fascinating as both a tech nerd and a finance nerd. So it's a very interesting combination of both of those things. So I will stop talking and let you all enjoy the event, but just leaving it with just thanking all of you as well for attending and participating in this sort of thing. If you want to find out more about the Early Career Exec or how to get involved, just search online for BCS Early Career Executive or get in touch with me directly. And Juan's just put a link in the chat. Thank you very much. So I'll leave you all to the event. Thank you very much all for joining. And yeah, it should be very exciting.
Thank you so much, team. And next, just would like to apologize a bit because Arvin from the Access Blockchain Association Malaysia today couldn't attend as becomes the speaker. However, let's welcome Jason Chiu, the Vice President from Access Blockchain Association Malaysia, and also the second panelist, Martin from FINAS, Fintech and Insurtech Association of Slovakia, and also from Fintech Valley Europe. And dear panelists, could you please introduce yourself and also your organization, and the floor is yours. Perhaps start with Martin.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Thank you for facilitating. Who's the first in introduction? First of all, technical check. Can you hear me well? All good?
Hopefully. Yes, all good. Yes.
Perfect. So once again, thank you very much for invitation to this panel, to the webinar. Even though from Europe, from Slovakia, far away from Malaysia, but very interesting to hear about your experience and let's say your insights from Malaysian market. When it comes to Europe, I'm representing FINAS, which is a fintech organization and association of Slovakia. We are the organization having a connection with more than 80 members, being on a market already a couple of years since 2016. Our members are including technology companies, insurance, Insurtech, and fintech companies, obviously crypto companies as well. But well, as the European regulatory and overall financial world is quite complicated, we do have a lot of cooperation with the regulatory companies and officials as well. As we are based in Slovakia, we feel the tremendous opportunity of the wider Central European market. Therefore, we are very active in organization of Fintech Valley Europe, where we are representing more than 11 countries in Central Eastern Europe and trying to facilitate the fintech access to more than 200 million market here in Central and Eastern Europe. We see the huge opportunity of synergies of the companies and players wider in Europe. Therefore, we feel that that's an amazing thing to build on those synergies together. And nevertheless, I'm representing the commercial sector as well, since I'm a founder of Elevon.io, digital innovation and digital transformation company, especially focused in fintech and telco segment. So once again, thank you for the invitation. Hopefully, we can discuss a lot about how to attract young talent towards the fintech market in Europe. Floor is yours, Jason. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin. And
thank you so much, Martin. Go ahead, Wanchin, sorry.
No, the floor is yours now. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jason. So tonight I'll actually be replacing my president, Arvin, for this session, right? So maybe just a little bit of background of myself, and then at the same time, what our association does as well. So I started off my career in software engineering, actually, and then started bridging into the Web3 crypto world. And from there on, I kind of joined the association as well. So the association is called Access Blockchain Association Malaysia. And currently, we are the largest and most active association based out of the country, and we primarily facilitate connections around Southeast Asia, right? So if you are a blockchain company looking into bridging into the local markets, we are the right parties that you can talk to. So in terms of the association, we primarily facilitate education, right? Towards obviously blockchain crypto is still a very early industry, so we help facilitate education into that particular industry, and at the same time, we do a lot of curated kind of like industry roundtables primarily, so with the government agencies and at the same time the local stakeholders. So that's my involvement primarily with the association, and I'm very, very much advocating for the technology. At the same time, I work in another space called the no-code and low-code space, right? So I think getting an idea of where we are heading into today is also professionals that are looking to transition into this particularly blockchain crypto industry, right? So a lot of what I do is also on the digital transformation side. So I help a lot of especially non-technical developers and founders, right, to transition into the tech industry using this no-code and low-code platforms. So yeah, looking forward to the conversation that we're about to have. Yeah, thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jason and Martin. And yeah, the purpose of this event is to actually, like, as we know, the early career professional often face the difficulties in accessing a meaningful opportunity and experience in fintech industry. So could you share what are the new opportunities for early careers, perhaps to Martin in your area of the digital transformation and Jason in the area of the blockchain or the Web3? Yeah, and maybe start with Martin first.
Thank you. Well, opportunities. Let's talk about the area I'm let's say focused from. I'm usually mainly focused on a area of digital transformation of rather conservative financial companies or insurance companies, where you see how fast the technology goes when it comes to enter of let's say new market players like neobanks or innovative payment solutions. And on the other hand, you have rather conservative organizations like banks or insurance companies who wants to, let's say, stay competitive on a market and let's say bring the newest solutions. you need to make sure that you are adding on top of your experience of the companies, on top of the, let's say, customer numbers, right? These traditional banks and insurance companies usually have millions of customers already. But to make sure that you are offering the newest product portfolio, or the ones which is mostly reflecting the growing youngest generation, you need to make sure that you are adding to your team that the freshest ideas available, right? So what's the biggest opportunity for those companies there's nothing better than either hire or offer student and let's say inspirational programs for early careers, either students or people who just left the universities and trying to let's say focus themselves on something meaningful with huge impact, right? And if you talk about where the opportunity is for banks, for insurance and Insurtech companies, or rather technological companies who are trying to attract let's say tech growing market, that's amazing opportunity for the young people to join and, let's say, open the ideas towards the rather conservative portfolio of thinking. So that would be it's a rather general idea. Now, if you think what the digital transformation means for let's generalize, on, for example, banking, right? Usually the banks in Europe, but abroad as well, are already years and years running their technologies on either legacy tech stack, which can be somehow innovated, right? Now, topics like microservice architecture, cloudification, or a huge simplification of a product portfolio, that's exactly what are the topics for youngest generation who is, let's say, keen to learn new things. They are already in everyday use of new technologies, either in school or early careers, right? And to let's say build on those fresh young ideas. That's something where I think it's definitely worth to invest when it comes to focus. Obviously, on business side, fast-growing products which can be enriched by new ways of thinking, new business models, new product portfolios. I think that's definitely field where the new generation has something to say, because currently the world is like so fastly moving forward that if you just blink your eye for a while, you can miss a big shot in technology and business, right? So that's why we truly believe that we try to put together companies from either technological or financial world and offer discussions and an opportunity to speak for young people as well, because they have significant ideas to say and share. And if you want to transform your rather conservative organization towards something which stays competitive on a market, it's definitely the way you should do to attract new talents. Make sure that you have a lot of young careers and students including in your organization. So especially in Finas, and we try to use those synergies in FinTech Valley Europe. We are very open for programs which would allow young people to join the organization and share their ideas. Does it make sense?
Yeah, fantastic. And maybe, Jason, could you share the new opportunity for early careers in your area of expertise, blockchain, Web3, crypto? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. And thanks so much, Martin, for sharing your perspective as well, right? So I think in terms of Web3 and crypto, maybe just a little bit of storytelling that I can do, right? And in terms of transitioning from this supposed early stage career into the particular space, because I think whenever we talk about blockchain, there's a lot of questions that usually goes around like, okay, how do I even begin, right? And I think a lot of people, when they look at careers in blockchain, they might think that I probably need to be a developer in order to participate in that particular industry, right? To make an impact into it. So about 3 years ago, I actually started a community targeting specifically this problem, right? So I started a DAO. In a Web3 perspective, it's actually a decentralized autonomous organization, which is a fancy way of saying that it is a company that is completely built on the blockchain, right? So all of our treasury and everything is managed on the blockchain itself. And this particular organization, we actually focused a lot on helping transition these professionals into this blockchain industry, right? So a lot of the professionals that come into it, their questions, like whenever they look into Web3 or blockchain, they're probably wondering like, how do I get started? And the first thing will probably popping up is going to tell you like, okay, you probably need to learn coding, right? Probably need to learn Solidity and all that to participate in the space, right? Which is not exactly the case, because in any emerging industries, you're going to see roles shift, or rather roles that are slowly evolving, right? Take for example, one of the examples would be a community manager, right? On a Web3 perspective, a community manager actually means quite a bit, right? Because this community manager, maybe on more traditional kind of like standpoint, is that they probably just help manage the community, right? Whereas on blockchain or Web3 companies, these community managers, they do a lot more than that, because for a industry that particularly just runs on animosity, right? And everyone's anonymous, your community needs to be very strong in order for any products to be pushed in, right? So you'll be seeing these roles kind of like evolving at the same time. If you are looking into transitioning into, be it if you're a student or if you're a young professional looking to transition into the blockchain space or crypto space, right? There's actually a lot of opportunities and a lot more new roles that are coming up that is yet to be defined even, right? And one thing good about the crypto space is all about that remote work culture as well, because this has also shifted a lot of, like, let's say, even our local markets, right? If you look at Malaysia, Southeast Asia, generally founders that are based in Malaysia on a traditional standpoint, they probably only look at our country and then maybe just slightly beyond our borders. Whereas on the blockchain space, there's one thing that we always say, right? You need to be global since day one, because you definitely are targeting a global market, right? So there's a lot of opportunities there, right? And yeah, so people are slowly able to transition into that. You can use a lot of this, even like, as I mentioned, no code, low code platforms to enable you to even like launch smart contracts without coding. That's how you can break that technical barrier. So a lot of opportunities there, a lot of traditional roles evolving as well. Yeah, so that's my take on it.
Thank you.
If I can add that, sorry to interrupt, because that's a very interesting take when it comes to especially no code.
We want to submit to.
No code principle. Sorry, there was a team inputting something, but anyway, it was actually couple of some time ago when the CEO of NVIDIA, which is the fastest growing or one of the fastest growing technology companies right now, due to the rise of AI, and as they are fueling the AI implementation, he said some time ago that as 10-15 years ago, we were all, let's say, teaching our children that they need to code, because without knowing the code, they will be lost as a generation now. But now, with the rise of no-code solutions, for example, with the rise of artificial intelligence, which can actually transform your ideas into technology solutions right away, the enter of the young people towards into, let's say, technology market or fintech, right, is very easy. So I can definitely sign under it what you are saying, Jason, that with a rise of the solutions you described, with the rise of artificial intelligence, where the code or knowing how to code is starting to be, let's say, a bit obsolete. Obviously, you need let's say, huge support of your logical thinking and knowing all the dependencies of your ideas. That's definitely something which need to be there. But I fully agree that that's a huge opportunity for young people not to be afraid to enter either fintech, crypto, or whatever, because the burdens of knowing how to code is not anymore there so strict, right? So I think that's definitely something young people should build on.
Yep.
So aside the new opportunity, could you also foresee what are the challenges now for the early careers in the fintech, like in a digital, in your area of expertise? The challenges.
Well, I can start as I was starting the opportunities as well. Well, I think what we are facing today, especially due to let's say easiness to access global markets via any software solutions and any products, I think we are facing the paradox of choice. Like young people today, when it comes to choice of their careers, they have a huge opportunities where to join and where they can put their effort to, right? They can I think that's the reflection of every era, but right now, again, was never easier to start your own business with and creating very simple solutions when it comes to your products or ideas, and start to offer them to global market, right? It was never been easier, right? So I would rather say the challenge for the young people is to make sure that they let's say use those opportunities as wide as they can. They try new things, but they can leverage them in rather bigger companies where the market or the access towards the customer portfolio is bigger, and you can very easily transfer your ideas into huge, let's say, worldwide impact, right? So you choose wisely when it comes to where to put your early effort, but then definitely make sure that you can leverage it on the solutions with the huge impact there, right? So and that's one challenge. And the other challenge, I would say, is when it comes to young generation, and I would describe the situation when it comes to financial and fintech companies, right? You always play with money, right? I mean, no play, but you work with money. If you have your customers in financial institutions, fintech organizations, or even crypto, you always deal with customers' money, and you need to make sure that you stay as secure, responsible, and not taking too much risk for your customers to serve, right? And as a young people have rather bigger ideas and bigger creativity, and maybe less of a responsibility of what they do. Well, with all due respect, with those who are aware of the let's say the experience responsibility. The challenge is to understand what are the fatal impacts of serving the customers when it comes to financial and fintech industry if something goes wrong, right? So I think that's a definitely challenge we need to face. But overall, if you connect the ideas of young people in their early stage careers, put them together with let's say rather experienced colleagues who are already aware of what are the risks when it comes to financial vertical or financial segment. I think that's amazing combination of skill set and creativity, and you can definitely leverage it, right? So that I would definitely suggest to make sure that if you put teams together, make sure that you connect the experience of someone who worked in the industry already for some time and is aware of the risks from all the angles. Put the young professionals' creativity on top of that, and in this combination, it should really work well.
Thanks, Martin. I think Martin already mentioned most of it, right? But I think from a more general perspective, right, in terms of like how the association is looking at our particular space for cryptocurrency and blockchain, because we work quite closely with the Fintech Association here locally as well. And I think one of the main things is obviously regulation, right? Because for crypto and all that, payments is a big thing. But I think we are getting to the point that there's a lot of development, and at the same time, these particular challenges are being tackled by more sophisticated products as well, right? So maybe one to highlight is that whenever people talk about maybe anything regarding payments and it involves any kind of cryptocurrency, is scams, right? Money laundering and things like that, where, you know, like you have new companies like, let's say, Chainalysis, that is doing a lot of blockchain forensics that breaks down all of this, right? Because nowadays, people, you might think, might be thinking that, okay, like if I were to scam people, you know, at the end of the day, when you're looking to exit your money, when it touches that fiat, right, you're going to be able to trace it back at the same time as well. So for young people exploring the space, and because it's such a, you know, like a lot of people define Web3 and even like the blockchain industry as the Wild West right now, is that there are pros and cons, right? The pros is that a lot of the things are not set in stone yet, right? So there's a lot of things that you can explore in the blockchain space and tackle it using your own ingenuity, right? At the same time, cons means that you are less protected as well. So be it professionals that are looking to go into the space, and if you're talking about personal involvement, maybe you're looking into like just participating in the trading element, right? So if you're someone that you are not familiar with, you know, the whole blockchain and the finance part of it, is that you would probably want to tap into communities, right? Because a lot of it is trial and error, just like how I got into the space. And even back then, like 4 or 5 years ago, it was even worse, right? It was not even the Wild West, it's probably the Wild Wild West back then, right? So we you know, there's a lot of trial and errors. And as someone that is looking to explore opportunities in that particular space with enough tenure and enough time exploring the space yourself, at the same time, identifying with the challenges that definitely still persist in the space, you'll be able to find that opportunities, right? So yeah, that's my add-on to that question.
Thank you. And about the new challenges, right? Do you think that the generative AI is threatening or increasing the job opportunity for the young, early career professional?
Okay,
Well,
maybe I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, sure. Maybe I can take this, right? So in terms of let's say talking about generative AI and all that, it's good because at least right now, if you're talking about where does AI and even like the industry that I work in intersect, right? AI and blockchain, is that AI, you have products already that is that you can touch and feel, right? So the general public perception is that they are more willing to explore that space, right? Because they can already use things like ChatGPT and all that. Whereas if you're looking at particularly just like blockchain and cryptocurrency, is usually associated with the black sheeps of the market, right? If you're talking about NFTs, you're talking about DeFi, people tend to be more wary about that, right? So, but a lot of this generative AI tools, right? Let's call it like the no-code, low-code tools, right? Is, again, it touches back to what we initially talked about. It enables a lot of professionals, not just at an early stage of their career, even at any stage of your career, even actually, right? That you can start leveraging on this kind of tools to, you know, accelerate your learning, at the same time enable you to even switch industries and transition into a different role altogether, right? And that is actually how, even like for myself personally, that's how I first started, right? Because when I started coding in the more traditional aspect, right, when I wanted to transition into the blockchain industry, I did not want to learn Solidity, for example, right? And there's existing frameworks out there that taps on, let's say, one of the largest languages used in the world, like JavaScript, right? And all these ready JavaScript SDKs tools enables you to very easily transition into the blockchain space, right? So I would say that it's not necessarily a threat. There will be shifts into different roles moving forward, like how people would think about how their role is, you know, like executed on a more traditional standpoint. But with the involvement of, AI, generative AI, all that, how does it add on to it, right? And there will be, again, new roles that are being crafted, right? Even probably as simple as someone that knows how to prompt the AI, right? Those are particular roles that would emerge. Yeah. But I would love to hear what Martin has to say about this as well. Yeah. So over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Well, if you simplify the question, if generative AI is let's say threat for the young careers, young professionals entering their career stage, I think I'm fully on the same page with you, Jason, about that's rather opportunity to be onboarded to any topic much sooner than before, right? As you have such a powerful tool on fingertips, you can very easily use the tool to enrich your ideas and let's say use the Gen AI to actually execute those ideas into the production much faster. So I think what we are rather facing here is not anyhow not anyhow combined threat, but rather again opportunity to make ourselves much more efficient when in any situation in a work we are, either if we would like to onboard ourselves in any topic faster, upskill ourselves, or enrich our actual input in a work on top of what we have done, right? So I think that's again something which we should leverage fully. We should make ourselves much more efficient, and I think there would be, if you are not as a person and as a company, if you are not adopting the latest let's say mass market AI tools fast enough, then that's a threat for you. That's a threat. But if you are adopting the new technologies well, I think that's amazing investment for yourself to be actually very successful in your first career path.
Thank you for sharing the perspective. And the next will be, tech companies are famous for the big scale layoff. So do you have any advice for student or the professional to be ready to face this kind of the situation?
Well, maybe I can start with my personal take on or approach is always to make sure that you have your own personal diversification of your activities, right? If you are dependent on one career path, obviously that could somehow you could feel somehow impacted by possible layoffs, right? But my personal advice would be to make sure that any young professional is keeping himself busy in all the possible current areas. Like you can very easily work on your own small software as a service products and sell them online. You can create your own technology or online projects and products, again making sure that you are leveraging the very easy access to global markets. We actually have, and if we are talking about Europe and Malaysia, right, we as an organization, we are here to offer such a, let's say, side hustle opportunities. We do have partners in our network who are willing to offer side jobs, remote jobs, that definitely offer the options using which you are diversifying your personal activities, and you don't need to be afraid of any kind of layoffs or huge changes in corporate areas, right? So again, I would suggest to always be active, always make sure that you are diversifying your activities to wider portfolio. Start trying your own small projects. Again, as I said, it was never been easier than today to start your own side hustle, side business, side consultancy, side projects, and And with these kind of activities, what we have here, right, like discussions cross continent, right, Europe, Asia, we're definitely here to help the youngest generation to enter the opportunities in Europe as well. Just make sure that you keep your eyes open, and if there is discussion like this, make sure that from your side, whoever is on a call, to follow up and ask what are the opportunities around.
Thanks, Martin. Yeah, I agree with what Martin has mentioned so far based on his previous 2 points, right? And it's if you're a young professional, and I think it's not just limited to the young professionals as well. If you are already a working professional and you're looking to transition into different industries, be it, you know, even if it's not full-time yet, again, abundance of resources available out there, like what Martin mentioned. And it goes back a lot of touches on the remote work culture, right? Like, for example, myself today, I pretty much work remotely most of the time. And a lot of young professionals can also do that, right? In terms of like for blockchain, crypto, or even any kind of anything that touches on tech. But one thing about tech or digital is that things do move quite quickly, right? And trends shift very, very fast in the tech industry. So it's very important, again, to be always active, be very willing to learn, and just keep up with the trends, right? Because a lot of new skills will be popping up, and you know, like it will kind of redefine what you would think a role would be, right? So from there on, yeah, just pick up more skills. And in terms of like being laid off necessarily, like there's so many different roles that you can pick up. Like, you know, like today you can be a software engineer at during the day, and then on your weekends you're probably like a baker that is leveraging on existing e-commerce platforms to sell your big products, right? There's so many things that can ensure you to be more resistant to that particular layoffs. Yeah. So I'm not too sure what else I can add to that point, but aside from, yeah, just being able to consistently be aware of the new trends, be aware of the different verticals that are popping up, how roles are being redefined, at the same time upskilling yourself with the abundance of resources made available to you today, especially today with the internet, right? Anywhere you can start absorbing good information, good content that you can then translate it into work and sustainability. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, panelists. And we are now have a few minutes break for our panelists to catch a breath. And ladies and gentlemen, you may grab the chance now to send in your questions through the Zoom.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Any question?
Sorry, I did have some connectivity. I did have
It's
some
okay.
connectivity issues, so I'm back now. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any question from the floor? Okay. I think we have no question, so maybe we just proceed. So for the last question, right? Could you please provide one advice for the student or the young career professional to be ready in the fintech industry as a key takeaway? Yeah. Maybe start with Martin.
Okay.
Or Jason also is fine.
Go ahead, Jason. I have still some connection issues, so go ahead.
Okay. One advice. I think I did mention it previously, right? So just be adaptable, right? Be very willing to learn, right? Again, follow the trends. Look up AI, crypto, blockchain, and all that, just to be able to transition into that space if you want to. And you don't have to immediately jump permanently into any particular roles, right? Because again, like Martin mentioned as well, there's always side hustles and different things that you can try out first. before taking up a full role head on. And again, with remote work, that enables you to work anywhere in the world. You can pick up roles that are, like part-time roles that you can do at your free time. At the same time, you can learn while doing it. So be adaptable. Yeah, that's what I have.
I think I would just build on top of what you said. I think my advice would be ready for change. Like the world is changing right now so rapidly that you can't be sticked on some particular skill set, technology, or anything right now. Because if you learn something now, it could happen that in 12 to 24 months it will be obsolete already. So make sure that you are ready to change. You're ready to, as you said, be adaptable, and because that's something which is reflecting the today's world most. Like the fast pace of changes is very crucial, and if you can adapt the adaptability to change and implement it in every company's thinking, I think that's a great asset to have.
Yeah, and I think there's two questions from the audience. So the first question I think is specifically to Jason. So in terms of a career, would it be good to advise an early career students to focus on blockchain technology ecosystem specifically? And then he said, would that be too narrow in terms of fintech? Yeah. How do you think, Jason?
I wouldn't necessarily suggest just focusing on the blockchain industry alone necessarily, right? Although there's quite a bit of buzz around like AI and blockchain. It really depends on your interests as well. But in terms of like, let's say blockchain, I don't think, I might be biased, right? I don't think the technology is going anywhere, right? One of the main obstacles that we face, at least in terms of blockchain, is that we don't necessarily have a very strong success story or use case yet. Like people are still tinkering about with that technology, and it's not something necessarily new, right? This has been around for almost a decade. People are still trying to implement it into the things that they do, right? So you can start to see a little bit of a shift, right, in terms of companies looking to adopt the blockchain technology as part of their digital transformation strategy as well, right? To kind of see what kind of different things that they can leverage on that particular technology to make things a little bit more transparent, a little bit better, right? So as a young professional looking into that space, again, the emphasis here is that it's very early, right? And even the supposed experts in the industry, I wouldn't think that they are experts necessarily, right? They are still learning new things every day as well as the industry moves as a whole, right? So yeah, it's not just narrowed down into necessarily just even like the finance part of blockchain. There's so many different elements that you can do in the blockchain, not necessarily even technical, right? Because I did see the next question coming up is that aside from technical skills, you can also tap into a lot of things, right? The regulation side of blockchain, the legal side of things, right? How are companies being formed nowadays? And yeah, there's so many opportunities there, and just explore. Yeah.
Maybe the last question passed to Martin. So what the non-technical skill have been surprisingly valuable for you in your career? Martin?
I think, well, thank you for the question. I think it is somehow connected to what we were discussing lately when it comes to able to adopt or open to change. I think what helps me during the whole career for me when it comes to soft skills is openness. Well, openness to talk with people about things. Don't be afraid to ask if you don't know something, and don't be afraid to try things when they are new. I think the openness overall when it comes to approach towards the people, towards the technology, or towards, for example, market opportunities, that's something which works, because as in every startup works, sometimes you're going to fail with that openness, but usually the win will then come. sooner or later, right? So make sure you try, you're open to try things, and I think that always worked for me.
Yeah, maybe I can add on to what Martin said, right? I think a big part of it is also your own personal branding, right? And when you transition into this new world of working at a lot of roles are remote, and you can actually nowadays organizations are a little bit more fluid as well, right? Your roles are not as traditional and as fixated around a particular timetable or particular things that you should do. Is that you would see more professionals doing different things within their career, right? They are probably consulting in different companies. They are working this as a full-time job at the same time they are holding, or rather they are wearing multiple hats, right? And that's why it's important for you to be able to define ultimately what you're good at. Because one thing about flexibility in roles is that it tends to create a jack of all trades approach. And that always comes with a pro and con, right? Is that you're probably not mastering a particular element that you want to do. So your personal branding matters, right? And as you move, towards later stages of your career, you will start to realize what you're ultimately good at and what you're ultimately passionate about, and you can start crafting it towards that who you are, right? And you can kind of define your way of what work is. Yeah.
Yep, thank you. And the last question, taking the last questions, opening to both of you. So what could we do as a members of the IT industry to provide a smoother journey for early career professionals starting their first job in our industry? Yeah.
Okay, maybe I can take this first, right?
Okay.
I think for myself, what I've been doing during my free time, at least for an IT professional as well, is that I think mentoring works, right? I think a lot of young people, when they're looking to transition into the space, be it if they are, like from a different industry altogether, even, right? They would appreciate a lot of insights, right, that you are able to share with them, and in terms of your journey, how did you transition and all that as well. So aside from that, I would say passing on the right materials. I do focus a lot on education as well. And because I work in an industry that is, again, blockchain, there's a lot of black sheeps in the space, and there's information is not very consolidated. It's siloed very, very at different areas, right? So I think being able to point them to the right start of like educational materials is important as well, because not necessarily what you learn in university, right? For me, at least in terms of like the IT space, right? What you learn in university can be typically quite on the legacy side already. So there's a lot of new emerging technologies that are not yet being implemented or being taught in these institutions, right? So institutions can also start to adopt syllabus that is a little bit more fluid as well, that talks about things like, again, AI, no code, blockchain, and all that, right? So that is something, people can start implementing at that early stage to help people learn more about the emerging technologies as well, based on my perspective. Yeah. Thank you.
Maybe when it comes to myself, I think I'm a huge fan of making sure that you involve students into your teams, regardless they already finished the school or not, because even though let's say finishing the school is rather a big milestone for anyone, it doesn't mean that they are week after they finish school any better than they were 2-3 weeks before they finish school, or 1 year before they finish school. So you need to make sure that the skills and capabilities they are adopting in a university, they can constantly apply already in your teams. So you need to make sure that you are giving the opportunity for young people to join your team regardless of the university degree, obviously based on the role, to make sure that the role is rather focused on getting the experience on the real jobs, real projects, and so on, but making making sure that the people are, or students or young people are well shadowed or mentored, as you say, Jason, with let's say more experienced colleagues. So for me, always works well when you give a chance to people who want to have the focus on job already, but they are still at the university. So you need to give them a bit of a let's say space for their development.
Yes, thank you both panelists for the wonderful sharing and also answering the participants' question. And the panel discussion has come to an end.